Going into the 2025 NBA draft, it seemed like the Rookie of the Year race for this upcoming season was already decided. Even though the draft class seemed super deep, there was one prospect that clearly stood above the rest, and that was Cooper Flagg out of Duke. A consensus #1 overall pick for almost a year at this point, and he was heading into a situation in Dallas where he would have the keys. All the big news articles and outlets were putting him as their prediction to win Rookie of the Year. And it wasn't just the articles, the sports books had him at a -225, which was the highest starting preseason Rookie of the Year odds since 2007. And now with the season starting, it was clear that the Rookie of the Year was Cooper Flagg's award to lose. And it wouldn't take long for that award to already be threatened. On game 1 of the NBA season, VJ Edgecombe drops 34 points, marking the 3rd highest points dropped in an NBA debut in history. Meanwhile, Cooper Flagg's debut would be a double-double, but he would struggle immensely from the field and drop 3 turnovers against the Spurs in a blowout loss. And if you guys remember, everyone was quick to jump on the VJ Edgecombe Rookie of the Year train as he would continue that game, dropping amazing rookie numbers night after night. And Cooper Flagg looked like he was still somewhat settling in, but he was still dropping amazing numbers that we were expecting from him going into this season. And everyone was quick to say that the Rookie of the Year race would be between these two. Little did everybody know, a third player would get introduced that would blow them both out of the water. Kon Knueppel would start his NBA career showing some elite flashes early, dropping 20 and 19 in back-to-back nights, but also dealing with some early scoring struggles that every single rookie is going to deal with. And as we got into November, it was clear that Kon Knueppel was not just going to be the role player drafted to play alongside LaMelo, he was going to be something way better. Early on in the season, Kon Knueppel would have a stretch dropping 2 30-point games and a 19-point game that was 1 assist shy of a triple-double, all on amazing efficiency. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, it seemed like VJ Edgecombe's early success was starting to slow down a little bit, which would allow Kon Knueppel to pass him up in Rookie of the Year talks. And in Dallas, Cooper Flagg was dropping consistent numbers all across the stat sheet every single night, and he was still looked at as the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Nothing crazy yet. And then all of a sudden, in late November, Cooper Flagg would have a 35-8-2 game, clearly having one of the best games from any rookie this entire season and the best game of his career so far. And he would heavily carry that momentum into the month of December, dropping 42, 23, 24, 16, 33, and 27 on consecutive games. He is looking like the Cooper Flagg that was favored to win Rookie of the Year before the season started. And in any other NBA season, Cooper Flagg would be running away with Rookie of the Year at this time, but VJ Edgecombe was starting to put up numbers he was at the beginning of the season in December again, and he was inching his way back into the conversation. And Kon Knueppel would not slow down at all. In fact, he would speed up, dropping insane points every single night and also filling up other aspects of the stat sheet on historic levels of efficiency, not just for rookies, but for any NBA player. Here's Kon Knueppel's entire 3-point log for the month of December. As you can see, he averaged 46.2% from 3 this month, and look how many threes he's making per game. 4, 4, 5, 6, 4, 6, and he started to put himself in insane 3-point shooting conversations. The current record for most threes made in a season by an NBA rookie was Keegan Murray with 206, and Kon Knueppel was on pace to absolutely destroy this record. Now heading into January and early February, VJ Edgecombe would start to slow down again, which he absolutely could not do if he wants to win Rookie of the Year, as the other two counterparts are soaring. And by soaring, I mean it. Cooper Flagg, 49 points, 20 for 29, 69% shooting in this game. Oh my goodness, he would have had 50 if Caleb Martin didn't go for that dunk. And he would follow this 49-point game with 34, 36, 32, 14, and 27. Oh my goodness, we have almost never seen these numbers consecutively from a rookie. And you're probably scratching your head wondering, why is this video still going on? From what I've just seen from Cooper Flagg, he should easily win Rookie of the Year, and that's because of the Dallas Mavericks struggles. In all of those games I just showed you, the Mavericks would lose, which is not necessarily Cooper Flagg's fault at all. It's just something to take into account when comparing two players. When they're both amazing, you also have to look at team success. And meanwhile, in Charlotte, Kon Knueppel would slow down just a tad, but he would have some propeller games like that 34-point game with 8 threes, but the Hornets were on an insane hot streak. In that game where Cooper Flagg put up 49 points and Kon Knueppel put up 34 points, that was in a matchup between the Mavericks and the Hornets. And with those two going back and forth, the Hornets would win the game, even though it was only by 2 points. A lot of people saw this game as the decider for Rookie of the Year. And following the All-Star break, Kon Knueppel would go on an insane streak, dropping 7 threes, 33 points in a game, and dropping 28 points and 8 threes in a game. And in this game, he would break the record for most threes made by a rookie. And during this, Cooper Flagg was out with an ankle sprain, which was absolutely detrimental to his Rookie of the Year hopes, while his counterpart is putting up insane numbers and breaking records. Where we stand today, Cooper Flagg is played in 51 games, averaging 20 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 4 assists on 47% from the field and 29% from 3. Kon Knueppel has played in 63 games, averaging 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on 49% from the field, 44% from 3 on 8 attempts per game, and 65% true shooting. Just to show how historic that is, Kon Knueppel passes Michael Jordan for the most games by a rookie in NBA history with 20 plus points and 65% true shooting or more. Meanwhile, Cooper Flagg is also breaking records. Most points in a game by an 18-year-old. Cooper Flagg has the record, and he's also sprinkled in there a bunch of times with LeBron James, and that 49-point game he had was also the most points scored by a teenager in NBA history. But that wouldn't be enough, because now the new odds to win Rookie of the Year is Kon Knueppel as the favorite at -160 and Cooper Flagg as the underdog at +125, with VJ Edgecombe basically out of the picture at this point. While both are putting up insane numbers and rewriting the NBA's history books, the thing that I think is the main separator between these two is the Hornets' success. The Hornets are 21-9 in their last 30 games and are firmly in the playoff race at this point, while the Mavericks have been struggling for a play-in spot the entire season and are basically out of the race now. And if that still isn't enough to convince you that Kon Knueppel is the favorite over Cooper Flagg, Kon Knueppel is also the fastest player in NBA history to reach 200 three-pointers made. And it was not close. He did it in only 58 games, doing it 11 games faster than the previous record of Duncan Robinson with 69 games. Kon Knueppel might already be one of the best shooters in the NBA, if not the best. But do I think the NBA Rookie of the Year race is already over and you should just give it to Kon Knueppel? Well, no, not even close. There are still 20 games left in the season, and that is plenty of time for Cooper Flagg to put up more historic games to make the race even closer, and he is also now healthy after his foot injury. However, when push comes to shove, I do believe that this will be the closest Rookie of the Year race in NBA history. Both are breaking records, both are phenomenal players, and I think when the voters have to vote, it's going to be a very difficult decision, and I could see this being decided by 1 or 2 vote points. And if I had a vote, I would vote for Kon Knueppel. The Hornets' success, the records he's breaking, 44% from 3 on 8 attempts per game, along with 20 points per game and being a serviceable defender as well. I think Kon Knueppel should win Rookie of the Year, but I'm not saying it's a blowout. I do think it's very close. Subscribe, 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 subscribe.